this little thing here, and this is how to breed tilapia fish, okay? If you take the fish eggs and you put them in this little device, which is a 2-liter Coke bottle, you need to keep the eggs moving to keep them from sticking together, okay? So we strip the fish. We open up the fish's mouth. Once she lays her eggs on the bottom, the male comes and fertilizes them. She goes back, she sucks them into her mouth, and like a mother hen, she holds on to them. When they hatch in her mouth, okay? And she opens her mouth, they swim out. Little tiny guys. Any sign of danger, they swim back into her mouth. We call it mouth brooding. They didn't breed in her mouth, they're brooding in the mouth, right? Okay? So she does it. Well, we take them, we take the fish, we strip her of her eggs, we rinse them out of her. She's got a whole mouthful of them. Because as long as she's got eggs in her mouth, she's not going to eat. Like a mother hen doesn't get up and eat. A mother duck didn't get up and eat hardly at all, right? So they don't gain weight, right? But we strip them out, right? Plus that, 90% of her children will get eaten by the cousins and the nephews and the uncles, okay? Not necessarily mom eating their fish, you know, they don't eat their young, but the cousins will, okay? So what they do here, they take a little air pump like this, and you take it, and you take your little air hose, and I taught a course down in the Philippines a couple of months ago, and the guy at the end of the class, he was a businessman. You could tell by his dress and his demeanor. And he showed me that he does this little system. He raises 150,000 baby tilapia a week and sells them for a nickel a piece. Do the math. He's a very well-to-do man in the Philippines. This is an air pump. The air pump makes bubbles, right? So if I take it back out here. Now come over here, you got little bubbles going, right? Yep. If you take the bubbles and you put them down in this tube, the further they're down in the tube, just like my airlift pump, they will pump water up. So if I push this down here, they will start bubbling up. The water will come across, the air will come out here, the water will fall down, and notice the things that are in the jar now are moving. The water comes out the bottom and gently stirs them up. The suction cups, which are just about worn out there, the fish will then swim free, come up. This is a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch below the surface. They will swim out here and they'll be free. I went into the guy's house. He had about 50 little tanks like this. Each one of them had 2,000 to 3,000 baby fish in it. He'll put like, 2,000 eggs in this thing, and they'll all be bubbling up and doing. You do like 500 in a crack, and just keep doing them and doing them every week. About 150,000, divide that times a nickel. You get an idea of the economy that the guy is into. So he gave it to me for free. He showed us. We filmed it. We filmed stripping the eggs out. We trimmed how to siphon the water off of them, putting them in here at every step of it. He only asked one thing of me. Never show anybody on his island how to do it. Take it to another country. Yeah? But what a money-making little deal is. Well, they make these for me in the Philippines for $10. Okay? You've got about $2 worth of PVC at American price. 59 cents, 15 or 59. You couldn't, and then this is a 2-liter Coke bottle, okay? His secret, you see the suction cups, right? When you get them, they're new. They're kind of curve shaped, right? One of them is glued into the bottom, so when the water comes down, it just gives a gentle uprising. That was his secret, so the eggs cannot fall down to the bottom, okay? Anyway, this is all water in here. This seals this, so the water doesn't go out here. The water's going to come in here. The air bubbles go up there, because this hose is down to here, right? The water goes up, goes over, the air escapes, the heavier water falls down. Because the air pump is trying to pump it up here about 3/4 of an inch. Well, you can't make it out, so the water falls down. Something like my little collector, isn't it? You send the water over, it can't get out, falls down, right? Okay? And so that little device, the guy had worked for 8 years in a fishery where they spent $500,000 American doing it, and they couldn't make $20,000 a month. And they had employees, and it was a break-even operation. He shared his concept of doing it this way. They decided he wasn't a team player. So he did it on his own, on the side. And when he was selling as much as equal his paycheck, he quit, right? And he's gone on to be the king of tilapia there, okay? So the Philippines have really picked up on aquaponics. Another gentleman that Natalie and I met, he took a tote, the 4x4 foot totes? Well, here in America, we slice them in half. We throw one half away. We make a fish tank, or sometimes we'll turn it over upside down in that. The man, he took the tote and he did not cut the metal at all, but he took the plastic out, cut 1 foot of the plastic off, set it on the side, put the 3/4 back in, the 3 foot back in, and it still has the metal bars across the top. Took the empty one and set it up on the top without any frame. It's only going to have about 8 inches of gravel in it. He pumped the water straight up to the gravel, okay? Did a little siphon remote like ours, right? And he did it down. This year he won their equivalent of a award for ingenuity, $175,000 American for the ingenuity and for sharing what he's done. And what we're trying to encourage people is to share this as rapidly as possible. We're against the patenting thing. When we patent something, it's only for the manufacturing right. But share it, let everybody do it yourself, build your own. You don't want to build one? I'll sell you one for 20 bucks. You know? Kind of a thing. Not everybody's into the do-it-yourself thing. Not everybody has a shop in the drill. We have a nice little shop. You're welcome to go in there and check it out. The drill presses, the cuts. So people come here and pay us $75 an hour. We drill all the holes for them and make their trades for them and get them going. You know, that way I'm able to pay my guys, and something and that and get it done. But it's not necessary. If you only want to build one system, you don't really want to go buy all the drills, the hole saws, and everything for a one-time adventure, right? But this is one cool little system. It's the most ingenious little thing you can do. He goes every Sunday morning, he strips 20 fish tanks, 100 fish in each tank, 20 of them each week will be pregnant. He will strip the eggs from them. So if you've got 20 times 20, you got 400 fish with eggs in them. Anywhere 200 to 500 eggs, he's stripping them out, and then he puts them in here. Very predictable every week how many fish he has. Then he feeds them male hormone food, which is illegal, and all the fish will turn into males. Thus, none of the breeders will sell a female fish. That way, everybody who's doing aquaponics aquaculture has to buy their fingerlings. Now they're buying for a nickel, selling for $1. We buy for $1 and sell for $5. Who's making more money? He's making 20 times from a nickel to $1 is 20 times. I'm buying for $1 and sell for $5. I'm only 5 times more. But the dollar sounds richer, doesn't it? Huh? Right? So see, when a Filipino sells his fish for $1 a pound, he's making more money than I am. Everything being proportional, right? Right? It's like when we hear that the construction worker makes $7 a day. Or we had a fellow up here from Cuba. He says, the average Cuban makes $20 a month. Oh, how are you going to live on that? Then a little girl says, what's the rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Havana? She says, $1 a month. Ah, what's the average cost of food for a month? $3 to $4. It's a different numerical system. Probably the Cuban making $20 paying $1 rent. Who here in Hawaii pays their rent with 1/20th of their paycheck? For a lot of us, it's half our paycheck. A third to a half of our paycheck to pay our rent. They're 1/20th. So it's all, you got to figure out. My son travels a lot and he says, Dad, all you got to figure out is how much does a hamburger cost? How many hamburgers do they pay you a day? That's well. You all see the mini port over here? Or the macro port?